hello. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the ceramic starfish for first grade. So when you're cutting your clay for your class, make sure to cut a couple extras, and each kid should get a hunk of clay roughly the size of a softball. This one's a little bit big, but always go more clay than less. If you're not sure, add a little bit on. It's better for them to have more clay and put the excess back than to not have enough. So when you give them their hunks, you don't have to roll it into a ball. They can just get a cut hunk, it's fine. But when they get it, have them roll it into a ball. It's good for them, they enjoy it. Getting to work with the clay a little bit more. So have them make, it doesn't have to be a perfect ball, just a sphere-ish shape, and drop it on their board or their mat. Remember, you're going to pass out only their mat or their board and nothing else while you instruct. So while you're doing your instruction, you can have somebody cutting your clay pieces, and you'll show them how you start in the middle of your clay and rock back and forth. Never on the end, because it makes it very likely for you to break off a piece of clay. So you start in the middle, rock back and forth, and then you flip it over. And this is the roll and flip, and you have the kids repeat it. What are we doing, kids? Roll and flip. And the reason why you flip it so often is because if you have nice, wet, sticky clay, it's going to want to stick to your board. And then when you cut your shape out, it's going to be stuck to the mat, and they're going to have to start over. It's a bummer. So you take your clay and you roll and flip and roll and flip. And you ask them to use their pinky to measure the thickness of the clay. And we want the clay to be the thickness of their pinky. Now my pinky's a little bit thicker, so I'm going to go a little bit thinner, but not by too much. Let's see here. So I'm going to roll back and forth, and I'm going to flip. Boom, ba-dum. And you want to make sure when you're walking around with the roll and watching them roll out, make sure that they're trying to keep even pressure. A lot of times you'll see big rolling hills in their clay, and see if you can help them kind of even it out a little bit. So now I think that I've got the thickness that I want, yes. And when you've approved their thickness, you're gonna pass out stencils and toothpicks and knives. And you can just put a couple of each on their table and let them choose. And you'll pick up the rolling pins and put them away so they're out of the way. Now, when the kiddos stick it down, you gotta remember to tell them this is the one and only time they're gonna press super hard all the way down to their board or their mat. If they break the toothpick, it's totally okay. We've got lots more, but we wanna make sure that they're going all the way through their clay so they get a clean cut on their starfish. Once they have cut all the way through, you peel around the outside, ball that up, and then you can have parents come around and collect the extra. See, look at all that extra. But we had enough to make sure that the stencil really fit inside that circle. So now we want to peel it up and make sure it's not stuck to the mat or the board. And now you've got your starfish shape. So now what you're going to do is you're going to have them write gently their name. I'm going to write mine. Their room number, I'm going to say 13, and the year 2019. Now, reiterate, you're not pushing all the way through this time. You're just writing lightly. Now that becomes the bottom. It goes face down, and they can make whatever design they want. Typically, this is a Mother's Day project, so they can keep that in mind. You know, maybe don't write Fortnite on it. Maybe something like I love you or hearts, or you can just do a drawing, a pattern, whatever you want to do. But keep in mind that it is going to be a gift. When the design is done and they feel happy about it, you are going to take something that I did not prepare. You're going to take a small piece of the school's paper towels, and you are going to make a little poof. It doesn't even have to be this big. And you're going to take it over to one of your 2 drawing boxes, and you're going to just set it on top. Make sure all the the feet are touching the box, but there's a little poof at the bottom. And then when it dries, it'll dry like that, and you can throw the paper towel away. And that's it. Then collect all the stencils and all the stuff and clean up and get out of there.
And ask if there's any absences, maybe make some for the absent kids, and then do a couple extras in case any break in the kiln.
Correct. Oh, and one thing is, in the past, some teachers have wanted a hole in the top so that it can hang. Ask the teacher before you start the project. Some teachers like it, some teachers don't. If they want the hanging, parents do this when it's in the drying box. Don't give it to the kids because they'll make Swiss cheese starfish. But there should be straws in your clay cart, and yeah, just one hole right at the top. Just leave it right like that in the drying box. It should dry for about 2.5 weeks, and then it's ready for sanding and firing.
Yay!
Yeah.